I am so happy to say that we're up and running. We already have a lost episode, D. Do you hear me? We already have a lost episode. So technically, this is not episode 2. This is episode 2.24. Obviously, those are some fun numbers for me, so we're able to keep it that way. But our lost episode might someday be very valuable. But as for right now, no, I don't think it's very valuable at all. It's just that we had more technical difficulties, and it's all Griffin Perry's fault. Griffin Perry, he was the one that had a real bad problem as a producer, so he got fired. And now we have with us today, I'd like camera 4 to show our producer is Darius Alice. Young D's on the scene now. He's got the command of everything. So if it all gets messed up again, we'll just fire him. It's like, and we got another one entering. Yep, there's Corona. There's Cocoa Bean. She's entering the show. So So basically today is one of my favorite. I've been at this sport since I was 12 years old, and I really still stink. And it's amazing how, there's one sport that I love so much, but know I'll never master like other sports. It's the great sport of golf. And with us today is somebody I've known, fortunately I've known for a long time. Fortunately, when I met him recently, he quizzed me as if I knew him or not. And somehow this brain of mine was able to unlock Mr. Dan Botelho, who's with us today to talk some golf. He's got a lot of history. We got up here on the board, and I'll be able to edit in so you see, a little bit of a biography. But basically, he's a golf nut. He's been a golf nut since he was a kid. He's a golf nut now as a grown man with a family. He is the head coach of the Franklin Panthers golf team, not basketball team. Sorry, Doug Alice, but yes, the Franklin Panthers are a little bit of a thorn in the coaching side of my basketball career, but I love them. No, I respect them, that team, that basketball team. But we're talking golf today, so there's a lot more history behind you, Bo, than just the Franklin golf team. So I'd like to just know, when did you get this bug?
11.
11. How did that happen?
So I grew up on Burt Street, right on the 8th hole of Segregansett Country Club. But actually, surprising to many in Taunton that know me, I actually didn't play when I was really young at all. It was all basketball, baseball, football, everything else. And then,
as the season turned, so to speak?
Yeah, I was right around 11, 7th
No,
grade.
I mean the sports. You were just playing
just
the sport of the season?
Yep. And then golf kind of got hold at 11, and by 13, I had a good idea. I was addicted already.
How did that start at 11? Did somebody introduce it to you, or you found it yourself because you're on the course?
So one of my best friends, Charlie Castle, the uncle of the famous John Bone Castle, Charlie had been playing since he was really young, and he asked me to go play with him, and that was kind of like the start of the addiction.
So that was was he at Segi?
He was.
Okay, because I knew the Castles. I guess Charlie Castle, is that their dad?
So Ed was the dad. He was the old principal at Hopewell.
So this is the grandfather.
That's John's grandfather, but Charlie's dad.
Okay, because the dad lived on Parker.
Yes.
What hole is
8th
that?
hole, same as the same hole I lived at.
No. Nope, that's another.
You're talking about Ed Castle.
That's his uncle.
Hole 5.
5.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the street's on the left, right? If you take a nice duck hook off the tee, he's one of the houses you could cream.
So if anyone's confused out there, because I've had to explain this a million times, Charlie is John's uncle, although he's younger than John.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Very cool. Very cool. So you just started getting out on the course at Segi, and they just sneak on?
Yeah, I'd sneak on, and then and the members knew a lot of Burt Street people.
Total Tauntonians.
They knew we were doing it. They always just told us to take care of the place. Then when I started getting pretty good, my parents said, "Yeah, we'll pay you for the membership."
Oh, nice. So you get to go. What? How old was that when you
first membership? I believe was 15. I played Parker 12, 13, and 14.
Nice
years of age.
So you're basically hitting high school with a lot of, did you have any coaching at that time?
So the thing that's amazing to me, Derek, is how good I, Charlie, Mark Furtado, Tim Donovan, Jimmy Watson, none of us took a lesson. So that's just raw hand-eye, hitting balls, digging it out of the dirt. And now that I've been a teacher and a coach for 3 decades, I look back on that and go, how did we do it? Basically.
Because you didn't have much of a sweet spot on the clubs back then either.
Blade irons, balata golf balls, the ball spun. It couldn't hit it straight. And I actually believe that's why we became shot makers, because the ball spun so much from a material engineering standpoint. And then I personally, like most of us, Furtado played the ping shovels. I used to always tease Furtado. I used to tell Mark, if I had to play with those clubs, I'd quit. They were ugly looking pings, but he was a great player. But I played with straight blades.
Yeah, that's rough, man.
Yeah.
I think I had a Ben Hogan blade set.
Yeah.
I had no right hitting those for
Most people
years. I had no right, shouldn't have been doing it.
Yeah.
Had a blade set 5 years ago. No, I still don't deserve to hit those.
Yeah,
things.
pretty tough.
Yeah, no thank you. Yeah, that's why pros can hit them a 7-iron 225, but it's not why. Well, maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. Maybe at some point you're gonna have to explain that to me. So tell me.
Yeah,
you
I'll
know
explain
what?
it right now.
Yeah, explain it right
Because
now.
I actually sold clubs for 2 years.
Yeah, I want to know why I'm 6'2", 205 pounds.
Yeah.
I have a pretty good, I think most people know, D, I do a little yoga, stretch out. I got
Derek's in shape, everyone. Derek's in shape for sure.
It's not about shape. I have flexibility.
Sure you
I think that's important for golf. I can turn.
100%.
I can't hit a 7-iron more than a $160, $170. How are they hitting it 225?
So I'm not 225. I'd say the average tour player is not hitting the 7-iron 225.
Okay.
Let's start there.
Okay.
But I thought you were going to ask me more of an engineering question. So with blades, I still play 8, 9, and wedge blades. I refuse to play anything but a blade in those scoring clubs. I call those the scoring clubs, like clubs where you're starting to fire at flag sticks, no matter where the pin is. The thing about a blade design is the true meaning of what you put in, what you put out. So fortunately, I'm still decent enough and I can do this myself. But if you watch Tiger in his prime, Tiger Woods, 185, 8-iron. 2 holes later, Tiger Woods, 162, 8-iron. So sure, he's hitting a different shot shape with different trajectory. But when you change your speed of your swing, that blade iron will absolutely to the yard deliver you an outcome of what you put in. Where the new clubs now with the foam and the this and the that, you get these balls that they just rocket and they go over the green and the player did nothing wrong.
So for those who don't know, because we're a little bit more educated than most,
yes,
on this club, kind of explain like the sweet spot of a blade versus sweet spot of this club in particular. This is my whatever the hell it is,
Sure.
Titleist, right?
So the sweet spot necessarily doesn't change much. On the older blades, the sweet spot was more closer to the heel.
Yeah.
But what these clubs do, like the one you have right here, Derek, the center of gravity is much lower. And this club, if you stripped it down, has lots of stuff in here, materials, where a blade is just straight metal. So therein lies the consistency of when I swing this fast, the ball's going that yard every time.
Yeah.
When I take something off, it goes less,
Right.
as it should. But these hot spot clubs, we call them, they don't quite perform consistently enough for most of the best players.
But you don't hit them right or left as much because they got a bigger sweet spot. Is that why you do this?
The sweet spot wouldn't be bigger there. We would call it the toe and heel area are friendlier.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. All right, so that's a little, and you probably had a couple what's there that you just blew because I know you don't know what the hell we were just talking about at all, right?
That is true. I have zero idea.
I'm a big club junkie. Anything golf.
Yeah,
Anything.
and that's probably as technical as. And you know what though? I think it's important for people to understand that because they don't understand buying clubs or figuring out golf from like to the jump. And somebody hands them, "Hey, I got a free set of clubs." Well, you just got your dad's freaking blades that he couldn't hit.
Yeah.
Now he's telling you to go have fun.
Yeah.
That's not basically how it should work for anybody who's getting into the game. But let's go back a little bit now. High school.
Yeah.
You're 14, 15. You're at Segi, playing every day. Are you killing it because you had a pretty good high school career? If I look up here, right, decorated high school career at Taunton High.
Yeah, I was actually the #1 player all 4 years. Our freshman year, we were terrible. I was the one man, and we won 1 match. Sophomore year, I believe we won 6 or 7 matches. And then junior year, here comes Furtado as a freshman. Here comes Donovan. And Chris Gray was a year behind me. Everyone got better. We were actually pretty legit junior year. Senior year, we had a really good year. We won the OC.
I know you're talking to your team. How are you doing at this point in time? What you're in match play every time, right? Match play, group play. Understanding high school golf, it's you go out as a team and you go out as individuals and you compile scores amongst both to get a victory or not for your team, right?
Correct.
Most people don't understand how you go out and have a golf match. Am I correct by saying that? Because I never played. I understand that you go out and you're playing head to head against somebody.
Yep.
And you're trying to get up points.
Yeah, so funny that you actually got this right because most high schools now in the last decade don't play match play. We played match play. The coaches did want scores. So the scores were basically accurate. Although if you lost a hole and you had a 3-foot putt, technically you wouldn't have to putt the ball out because you lost the hole. We played match play. We did win the postseason championship my senior year, which was stroke play. That was for the 4 best players on each team. My senior year, I went 13-1-1.
Oof.
Lost 1 match.
Okay.
And the guy I lost to, I also beat him. So we basically finished it off at the OCL.
So 1-1. You had 1 tie in there too?
One tie,
man.
1 loss.
Wow. Pretty cool. So what happens with an individual in high school golf? You move on, or is there you move on to some kind of tournament? What goes on?
So we won the league championship the postseason.
Yep.
But our team didn't qualify for the state championship as a team, but I did as a individual, which still holds true today. You have to have a certain stroke average, or you have to have X amount of matches below X score.
Okay.
So I went on and played as an individual and had a really good state tournament.
That's kind of like a lot of the other individual sport. Wrestling, there's team wrestling, and then individual guys can move on to state sport. It sounds very familiar to that, right?
Yeah.
So, ended your high school career. You actually one of the most. I haven't heard of another golfer coming out of Taunton High School with as much success or becoming a pro. Do you?
No, there has not been, but I like to give kudos to Mark Furtado. He was a great player.
Was he?
He was a great player.
Very
I
cool.
don't think he had the state tournament finish that I had, but he was a legit great golfer.
Hey, D, we're going to have to make sure that we figure out where he is on some kind of social media platform, even though we won't. Don't look for Bo Botelho over here because I'm still trying to get him to figure out Instagram or something. So, you should be on Instagram. You should be on Instagram for your shots, the way like you showed me, for your lessons, and then you should also have you should have your team Franklin Golf on there. Post your scores, post the kids' scores. Who won? Where are you in the league? It's information. It's not, Facebook's family. I always say this. Facebook's family. Instagram's quick pictures. You know what I mean? Which I think you'd be great for you individually putting that out there. And then, X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. X. Sorry, Elon. X is someplace where you can actually put out your team stuff, especially when you're the team coach. Darius, I'd say, Dad D, Dugout spends a lot of time as the BR boys basketball voice. You know what I mean? So he'll find if Caden Sullivan moves on to play college golf, he's probably playing college basketball, but you could say, hey, Caden just won this from Franklin Golf. Doesn't even have to be from you.
So the state tournament.
Yeah. So that's where you were?
The thing I like to always tell players that I coach is to never give up on a round. Because after that really great senior year, followed by the OCL individual title that I won in the postseason, where the team won, and then I also won the individual. So that was a great day. The spring, the state tournament wasn't until the spring, yet we were a fall sport. So I had to sit and wait 5 months to actually play in the state.
Not the best 5 months to wait in golf around New England.
Correct. So back then, some of the teams played in the spring and some played in the fall. And it was the day of my senior prom, and it was at Allendale Country Club. And
nice track.
I shot 41 on the first 9 holes. And I remember having a conversation with myself going, no, not today. You ain't going out like this. You just had a great year. You should be in the finals. Not today. And I shot 35 on the back.
Oh, nice.
And got in.
See, I didn't know if 41 was good or bad.
Yeah, it wasn't good for me. My average score was about 37.
Nice.
So that 41 was very out of character. So,
what should you be saying right now? What? It should be there. So for those who don't know, typical par, 36. Typical golfer, so 36 and 36 is 72. Typical golfer can't break 100.
Correct.
So that's the level of play that they're at right now. So if you're in another sport, you're at the top of your sport. This is, you're the person who's in charge of your team. You're the captain. You're all of that. It's super difficult to convince yourself you're a better golfer in the middle of a round. It usually goes the other way.
Yeah.
It usually goes, I don't know what the F is going on with my swing right now.
Correct.
Is that where you kind of maybe took a love more to golf or took an acceptance that you could handle it?
I think.
Let me stop for 1 second.
Yeah.
I talked in here before. I'm going to talk every time. There's a mental side of sports that's as important to the physical side of
100%.
sports. It is a 50-50 ball game in most sports, but I think golf is 75-25.
Would agree.
Where do you get the 75 from in that situation?
I think middle child, maybe having an older brother that was a whiz kid, A+, finishing second in his middle school class, finishing second in his high school class. I don't know. Always had a chip on my shoulder, but I always felt like Tauntonians in general. I had this conversation with Bone, John Castle, and Paul Arikian and Tommy Sylvia recently after a round of golf. I think we all have a little bit of a chip on our shoulder, and I think it works to our advantage. But that pep talk I had after 9 was a very pivotal moment for me going forward in college and when I played professionally, because I am way more proud of my rounds where I've been 5 over through 12 and get it back to even than my 62 I shot or my 664.
62.
Yeah.
Wow. Let's just jump into that. So good for the comeback. But what did that golf? If you're not familiar, and another thing that happens in most sports, it's called the zone. What is the zone? The zone is just where to me, my explanation of the zone is you're not thinking anymore. You're just playing. And I think that's for musicians. So how did you find a zone and shooting around a 62, and how old and where were you at that time?
Yeah, I think any round under 67, I would say, would be considered a zone round for a scratch player, +1, +2 handicap. Obviously, 12 players, they're like +8 handicaps at their home course. That's next level. Maplegate, Bellingham, white tees though. That's the bad news. 11 birdies.
I like that track.
Yeah, finished with 6 birdies in a row. So to this day, I know if I had more holes to play, I was going to birdie more holes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Total zone. The zone is defined as complete, utter confidence mentally, masked with absolute perfect timing, probably based on your hydration the night before, the day up. Just the perfect symmetry of motion, of physicality of the body with complete peace and total confidence mentally.
Nice. Yeah. So you find that the swing is not a thought anymore?
No swing thoughts, just target.
Just target. So you're dead on whatever you're looking for. Cool. I want to back up a little bit because wait, when was that?
That was 99.
99. Okay, so you're on your own.
I was a professional. I was not a member of the PGA yet, but I was really close at that point.
Okay. So you end up playing after high school. What was that like? Was that a restart, refresh? Go through that with me. What did you do next? And
college was great. I got off to a good start. Won my first 3 tournaments as a freshman, which was really did a lot for my confidence. Our team won the state championship, and that included D1, D2, and 3, and we were a D2 team. So we beat up on BC, BU, Harvard, all those teams.
Nice. Where were you?
UMass Lowell.
Very cool.
I'm old enough, though. It was University of Lowell when I started.
You Lowell.
Yeah.
Same with me.
Yeah, we won the states by, I think it was 6 shots at Stowe Acres. And that was a great freshman year. Just a fantastic freshman year.
Nice. So that led into a sophomore season, and then you kept growing from there, right? So what comes next? What's in your memories next?
Next was...
I don't need to be chronological. I'm just saying, like, what hit you next? So you transitioned to that. So more importantly, what was it like to transition to a next step?
Yeah, I wanted to turn pro, wanted to be somewhere warm, went down to Orlando at the Golf Academy, which was originally called San Diego Golf Academy, a 2-year program where you get credits towards your PGA membership. That was in Orlando, 160 kids from...
So you're from Massachusetts to Florida?
Yep.
Out of Dodge.
We had kids from Finland, a couple kids from Sweden, of the 160. So we had kids from all across the country and basically the world. Really fun 2 years. We had 3 golf courses the students could play. So we had classes in the morning and we all basically just played. And we had tournaments every Monday and we had a big 4-day tournament at the end of each semester.
Nice.
Really good stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you're just all out golf.
All out.
Any other jobs, or you just all out golf? Are you mixing, any other kind of job, restaurant? You have to. You fortunate enough to have something to be able to keep you going down there.
All out golf. Took the summer off like most kids did, and I interned at Belmont Country Club as an intern.
Nice.
Then I finished up the golf academy in '94, and then quickly turned pro and played professionally down on the mini tours down in Florida for 2 years.
What was one of those tours?
Moonlight Golf Tour.
Is that what I see? I see something up here. Moonlight Mini Tour. So competed in one on the Moonlight Mini Tour. What's that mean? I know what it means, but you let me know what it means.
I'd have to say of anything I've ever done. That's
Hold on a second. God, dog. Why? Go to camera 3. Yeah. You see this dog right in the corner? Can you see this dog? Yeah. I'm getting out of the way. She's getting her flowers right now.
But she's cute.
She's cute, but she stinks. She's got a little lake water in her, I think. I'm sorry, Bean. You're good. You're cool. But we do have a mascot in here, one of 2. So Corona, the Cocoa Bean is in the show today. Sorry about that. Where were we? But that's kind of
mini tour.
The mini tour, yeah. So you have a win. So you're busting ass on golf.
Yeah.
That's all your thought process is and your life is at this point.
Yeah.
What's your how do you get to that point to win on this tour?
Yeah, so that's anyone who plays golf knows to win a mini tour event in Florida during the winter, no matter what tour it is very difficult. There's scratch +2, +3, +4 handicaps everywhere. They're all coming to Florida.
Hit it. You don't know what any of that was.
Wait, what?
Wait, what?
So, no, to back you up, because there's a lot of people going to listen to this, hopefully, that scratch +1, what? What are you talking about?
So at the time,
what does scratch mean?
Yep. So scratch golfer, this is where people need some education here. If I'm allowed to be an educator for a few minutes, Derek. So everyone who's listening to this, when you play with a scratch golfer, you are not expecting them to shoot par every round. What you're expecting them to do is to shoot par 8 out of 20 times, not 20 out of 20 times. So at that point, when I won my professional mini tour event, which was the peak of my game, I was a +3. A +3 is 3 better than scratch. So if you're not a professional or an avid golfer, those people, the average player, calls those golfers -3 handicap. No, they're a +3 because they have to add 3 strokes to their score to get to par. Add 3.
Correct.
Meaning plus is better than scratch.
If par is 72, they're going to shoot a 69.
8 out of 20 times they're going to
20
shoot 3 under
times.
par.
Scotty Scheffler's a +6.
No, I think he's more like a +8.
+8.
Yeah, and those are on really tough golf courses.
And at the really tippity top tees.
Yeah.
Yeah. For other people who don't understand, D, go to camera 3. I'm going to use my little hate coach platforms. Usually you have, if the hole's at you, you're going to have a white tee. I mean,
Blues.
Junior tee?
Front tee first, yeah. Gold
Gold?
or red.
Gold and red, let's call it that.
Yeah.
Then white,
Yeah.
maybe white and blue, and then again, white and blue if they're playing a little bit longer. And this is to scale. Back here somewhere is the black
Correct.
tees, which
Yeah.
the pros play on. And usually they find a new spot in the forest to put them when they have the tour coming through to back them up even further. So for those average golfers that are out there, anybody who's on a course and goes, wow, I did really well. I shot a par at the white tees. You probably would have shot 3 over from the tippity top black tees, just to kind of interject a little bit of, what does that mean when we're talking about golf, right? So
Yeah.
I played the tips a couple of times. I played the tips on purpose at Pinehurst number 2.
Great golf course. Played it. Awesome.
The week after Payne Stewart won.
99.
I shot like 110, 20, and I was happy. It was brutal.
Yeah.
It was brutal. I actually took that rule where I putted off the green,
Easy to do.
and then I took the stroke and put my ball back and putted again from where I was.
And if I may,
I would have never been able to chip to where I was. when
let's
I
help the
started.
viewers with a rules question.
Yeah,
So the PGA Pro here will remind everybody you are entitled to declare a ball unplayable anywhere on a golf course except a hazard. So what Derek did right there was smart.
Well, probably the only. Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate that, D.
So Derek, famous quick story, Charles River Country Club, hole 5, I believe it's 5. The green sits comically back to front. This is during a member guest. A guy had a 4-footer, I believe was the amount of feet. Because I know someone that was in that group. He had a 4-foot putt for birdie. Missed it, went off the green completely. Down the hill, gone 20 yards short of the green. Walked to his ball, picked it up, declared it unplayable, went back to the 4-foot putt and knocked it in, which would have then been for a bogey.
+2, right?
And they all went berserk. And he said, I'll play 2 balls,
just so you.
but we'll talk to the pro
after.
after 9 holes, and I know I'm right. And
You
he was
know,
right.
there was that famous scene with John Daly, right? He putted off the green, went down, and just smacked it. That's what he should have done there too, right? He should have just picked it up and declared it and went back. But he was long gone. He was going up the course. Well, that's funny. Hey, I'm wicked smart. Yeah, I don't think so. Let's kind of continue through. I saw something that is it up here. Let's get into the pro a little bit.
Sure.
Now, as much as your playing career is fun, man. Personally, I know from one lesson, you're a great communicator. You're great at just seeing fluidity. Like when I'm coaching basketball, it's pretty known that I can work with people and help them with their shot. I love body mechanics in sports. I think it's what makes sports great. Whether you're a pitcher, whether you're throwing as a quarterback and you got that high C to release the ball, or I could just tell we're working with you that I was going to enjoy it because you could pick up that body motion. Did that come with time? Would you kind of always notice that?
We never took lessons, so we always tinkered. We were watching like Greg Norman, Freddie Couples, Curtis Strange, and just try stuff on the range. But now as an instructor, really down at the Golf Academy in Orlando, because college golf was all about classes in golf. The Golf Academy was a lot of golf, but we were taking classes on merchandising, club fitting.
So this is how you become a pro.
Yeah. So that's the teaching style. That's when teaching first started becoming a
So
part
explain
of
a little bit about a tour pro where you won, and then what is a teaching pro?
Sure. So more education for the audience here.
Yeah.
So
I
when
think
someone
that's
says
what this is part of it all.
Sure.
There's just a lot of people who don't get
Sure.
what each sport entails.
So if someone says they're a golf professional, they are a teacher, a coach, part of the PGA of America, which is the association I belong to. If someone says they're a professional golfer, they sound the same, right? Golf professional, professional golfer. If you say you're a professional golfer, you're basically playing golf. You're trying to win mini tour events like the one I won. You're trying to climb the ladder to the Korn Ferry Tour and then go up to the PGA Tour. So professional golfer, you're playing for a living. You probably have a sponsor. Hopefully you do, because it gets expensive. If you're a golf professional, most of us have had good careers. You just come to a point where, like for me, I didn't have a sponsor. I would have loved to have tried to go to the Hooters Tour, which was the tour.
I remember that tour.
That's the tour I would have loved to have tried. Looking back, I probably wasn't going to be good enough anyway, but it just kind of stunk that my road ended basically because of funds.
Yep. Which is a lot of people, a lot of sports, a lot of things, especially golf.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough to play every day if you're not, and then how do you play so many different courses to be really on top of your game? You might have a great in at Segi and can play there every day, but that's not going to help you when you're going to go to all these different tracks.
100% correct,
So
Eric.
you can't be it's very difficult. And I think it's why golf is one of the most difficult sports to become really great at.
I'm a little biased. I think it's the toughest.
Yeah. There's
Straight up. I think the only thing more difficult than hitting a pure 5-iron off the ground, 220 yards high with a 2-yard draw is like a gymnast.
I'm just thinking, like, honestly, I'm looking at the board behind you too. Like, it is the most mentally, combination physically grinding sport. It
Well,
really is.
Let me ask you this, Derek, right? So golf, you could be in the zone, so you think, one ball out of bounds, and then three holes later, one water ball. You ain't winning the tournament.
Yeah.
But I can watch Caden Sullivan, one of my players on the golf team who had just had a phenomenal basketball year. He can start 0 for 3 and just have a great game, but you're not afforded 3 foul balls in golf.
But if you're not paying attention going across center ice in a hockey game, you're dead.
That's a good point. I stayed away from the
you know what I'm
physical
saying?
sports.
Like, so there's a difference. There's a difference.
Sure.
So that's why I say the combination of 75% mental and 25% physical, to me, that's the toughest sport in the world.
Yeah.
Like, it really is. Playing football, I'll never forget my freshman year of football as a tight end. I went to catch a ball. I put my hands out. There's somebody coming straight at me. They call them alligator arms. Okay. When I put them back, I did it once in my life. The ridicule I took for that one time pulling my arms back compared to the 7 other major concussions I got, I would do it again. I didn't want to, I wasn't going to be called alligator arms, couldn't handle, different kind of, that's the only thing I know from looking at sports. It's like there's a different kind of, you really got to be focused. Imagine catching a ball full speed and then having to turn your body the second you caught it so that you know you're going to get hit in the right spot. Like, it's an amazing thing to watch some people do that as well too. But golf, when I watch people like Scotty Scheffler, Tiger Woods, Jack Nicklaus in my lifetime, you know what I mean? Like, starting with Jack, just knowing how hard it was to hit the ball. Because I used to go down to the Cape in the summers. So I'd leave Taunton. I'd go down to Chatham. And one of the things my mother was great about, she would be like, want to try golf? I'm like, yeah. She got me like 2 lessons at Cranberry Valley.
Sure.
This Cranberry Valley is a very nice course. So then she would send me to Chatham Bars Inn. It's a 9 holes junior course.
Yep.
And I would go out there. I had to be like 12, 10, 11, 12. I don't know what it was. I'd get to the 3rd hole. I would go run in the woods and collect as many golf balls as I could find, and I'd come back out. That's how young I was. I didn't even care how I shot or what I played, but I was hitting the ball all the time. And I had like 2 lessons. That was it, right? She figured that was enough. Probably cost too much damn money to think about a 3rd. But in the same breath, that's how I got my start in golf. Going out there by myself, hacking it around. I think most people don't get that young experience with it. And they don't learn how to strike the ball the right way until they meet somebody like you and can get themselves in front of a pro, right? But I think that's where in the sport in general, you think you don't know until you really pick up a club and try to really score. Every shot, don't move the ball, don't push it around, don't give yourself any strokes. You ain't coming out with the score you think you're going to get.
100%.
But that's where we get into, I'd like to talk about your professional career now, being a teaching pro. I heard somewhere you did 8,500 lessons or something in your career.
Probably over 9,000 now at this point. I think.
9,000. Wow. That's a number, like, I get it. Like, when I saw you only recently. So that culmination of all that experience, right? How do you prepare yourself for, you got 5, how many do you average a day?
6.
Like, if you're on 6 lessons, right? They're usually 40 minutes each or in that range, right? So how do you handle yourself going from, and I've seen you do it, a little girl, 8 years old, can't swing, to a high school kid who's crushing the ball, but right, slice or whatever he's doing wrong. How do you transition your brain from that?
Great question, Derek. Yeah, that's what makes teaching fun for me. If everyone was the same person, same size, same mobility, same hand-eye coordination, it would be boring. So every lesson's very unique to them because of the way their body naturally moves. We're not trying to create, we the pros, we're not trying to create a robot. We understand that everybody's got different mobility, range of motion, et cetera. Is there a swing that we perceive to be the best, most efficient way to swing a club? Sure, I have my own views, but at the end of the day, you have to see who you're working with. Where are they at in their game at this point? What do they need, right? So one of the lessons yesterday was with an older woman, sweet as pie, Kareen, and I told her straight up, probably going to hit 5 golf balls max today because I got to change her grip, got to change her pelvis position at address. I got to change her tilts. I got to change her ball position.
So what'd you do? Have her address the ball just to start? Hey, just show me what you look like type of thing, and go from there, and then back off from there, yeah?
And then I see 5 things that are wrong, right? So now I know we're not hitting a golf ball because you have to get the easy stuff right. I call it the easy stuff, but it's not. You got to grip it correctly. You got to stand correctly. Your posture's got to be good. Your ball position's got to be good. So Right.
My ball position was
a little bit off, Derek. A little off. Just a little bit.
My thought process is off of that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. So how do you communicate that to a younger person? So hey, so somebody's watching this and they want their kid to start. How do you communicate to a 10-year-old? You just start them from scratch, so to speak.
Yeah, for sure. And I always like to get the parents involved. I love when a parent plays because I want them to see me, what I'm saying to their child, why I'm saying it, and understand what the plan for practice is. Because I definitely don't want any of my players, and they all know this, so anyone who might listen to this that's taken a lesson from me will nod their head. I don't want them back for another lesson unless they've practiced what we've done the first time. Because in the end, I'm going to get more money, but I don't want it. I want to be part of a team, and I tell everybody I teach, we're a team now.
Yeah.
So you have to do your part because I just did mine.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah. The amazing thing is the best golfers in the world have a coach.
Scotty Scheffler,
Obviously,
same coach.
their coach isn't the best golfer in the world. It's not the way it's got it. The person who can evaluate might be a better evaluator and a better coach than the actual person playing the game itself. So I think it's really important in any sport to have that person behind you in your corner to make sure that your head is straight, if anything else. I'm sure the best golfers in the world need a tweak, but they need their head reminded of why they are who they are, so to speak. So,
Derek, I was reminded recently. So the young kid who won the Taunton City Open the last 2 years, Nick Rodricks, great kid.
Nick Rodricks, I like that.
He's from Rehoboth, great kid. When I was the head pro at Crestwood, he was a junior member there, and he was a good player. He was.
How old is this person?
So right now, Nick's probably 28. So when I was the pro at Crestwood,
Darius, let's try to find him too. I want to tag him on this show. So
great kid. He's back-to-back Taunton City Open champ. He came to me when he was a junior member at Crestwood when I was the pro at Crestwood. I forgot what year it was. I think it might have been 2012 or 13. And Nick came in and said, "Pro, I need a lesson." I said, "Sure." I looked at my schedule. We booked it. I think it was 2 days later, the lesson comes, and he starts talking to me. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do that. Should I be here? Should I be there? And I had forgot about this, Derek. And this really warmed my heart when I saw Nick a couple of weeks ago when I went to pick up my son, who's a member at Segi. I was talking to Nick, and he reminded me of this. So I'm listening to him. Should I do this, that? He must have rattled off like 6 different things that he should be thinking about or worried about. At least that's what he thought. So knowing he was a really good player, at the time he was probably a 2 handicap, and he's like 19 years old. I said, "Nick, grab your 6-iron. Hit a high one. Hit a low one. Hit a right to left. Hit a left to right." Then I said, "Hit a high left to right. Hit a low right to left."
For those who don't know, in this world, I don't have that game.
Most people don't.
I don't have that game. I want that game. We're gonna get there, but I don't have that game now. So
He hit every shot,
Yeah.
and I told him the lesson's over. We're good. And he goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "We're done. You're out there playing golf swing. Go out there and play golf by hitting golf shots." And he told me, he goes, "I never forgot that lesson, Bo." And I'm like, it was, that's all I needed to do that day.
I might need to have to put that in my head for tomorrow night at the Thursday night Picoy.
But you got to have, you got to be able to do those shots to try them on.
I'm going to remind myself I have one shot I need to worry about when I'm out there doing it, but very cool. So kind of want to break off a little bit and go back a little bit because you're here because, the sign says, "Hey, coach." And we're talking, why do I do this? Why does it matter to me? I think anybody who really knows me, if I put my mind to something, it's, there's people who do things and there's people who talk about doing things. I hate the fact that everything in the podcast world has to be on a national level. I have to have 1 million viewers. I have to get YouTube sponsors. I could care less.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think local coaches, and this is you as well too, at Franklin High, get the deserving respect. A lot of times it's my kid didn't play, my kid didn't do anything. There's so much that goes into being a coach. I don't care if it's youth. I don't care if it's, you're a youth football coach, you're a youth baseball coach. You got all summer with these kids. What I'm backing up to is, how long have you been coaching high school or a team sport?
So the first one was a long, long time ago. It was actually my third year as a PGA apprentice. So this was when I was working to get my membership. 96, I coached the Dover High School golf team in Dover, New Hampshire. And it was a co-ed.
Where were you living?
I was in Dover, New Hampshire. Yeah, that's the year I turned pro.
So you're an apprentice.
Yep.
Meaning you're at a club, assistant pro at a club or something like that?
Yep, yeah, and I'm affiliated with the PGA because I had passed my playing test. Fortunately, that was easy. I got that done. I think I won by 6 shots, shot 77.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, that was easy. They actually set the course.
The written test for Tauntonians can be a little bit more.
Yeah, a little more harder than the physical stuff. So I passed the PAT, win by 6. Now I'm officially registered as a PGA, what they call apprentice, meaning now you got to do all the book work, all the stuff that we don't need to waste time talking about, but it costs about $25,000.
What do you mean, running a pro shop type of thing?
No, we have to take, it's called level 1, level 2, level 3. So each level, there's like 8 classes, bookworks that you would have to, to pay for the books, do all your work, submit the work gets approved by the faculty down in PGA headquarters. And then you fly down. I had to go to Houston. I went to Buffalo and Nashville to take my test.
To take the test.
And if you miss the test and you fail one of the 7 tests, you're out. You actually leave.
So you can't just physically know the game.
No, this to become PGA member, it's not just be a good player.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you're at Dover as an apprentice.
Yep. And so that year I coached, they needed a coach. My boss got a phone call from the Dover High School because we were the private golf course in town in Dover, New Hampshire. And my coach just basically left. I have tryouts in 2 weeks. I need some help. Do you have anyone there? And my boss pulled me aside and said, Bo, this would actually be good on your resume. Now you're an assistant pro. You get to put volunteer head golf coach on your resume. So that year, it was a co-ed.
You never coached before this?
Had never coached any team before.
Have you ever given any instructions?
I had given a couple lessons.
Okay.
I was
kind of fresh off fresh on the market.
I'm a newbie. This is 94.
Cool.
And one of my girls won the, I was coaching in 96. That was 96. I turned pro in 94.
Okay.
Same place though. Cochico Country Club, Dover, New Hampshire.
You're in your 20s.
In 96, I'm 24. One of my players was a girl, Corey Goulet. She won the state title as a freshman.
On the Dover team?
Correct.
Wow.
Yep.
What was her name?
Corey Goulet.
Wow.
Goulet.
Dude, you better be ready. This is part of the editing that we're going to need to do is find that one. So
she later played at BC.
Really?
Yep. Oh. And she later got in the business, but maybe smartly she got out. She probably because it was just too much work.
Okay, so now that's the first coaching experience
you
have. What transit? So that's 96. You're young.
Yep.
That lasted 1 year?
That was only 1 year because after that I moved down to Maplegate and became the assistant pro there.
Oh, okay. So you're down at Maplegate. You're right in the heart of 495. So
yep.
This is where you kind of started to land?
This is also where I finally got back to actually live with some of my closest friends that are still my closest friends in Taunton. So I just commuted up to...
oh, nice. It's not a bad drive.
Up to Maplegate. My next coaching job wasn't until 2015. So between 96 and 2014, I'm gangbusters, PGA, assistant pro, or head golf professional.
So what you're doing is private lessons on private course. Well, it's not a private course, but
Maplegate wasn't, but the next several were.
They were.
Yeah.
Just throw the names out there.
Well, you better know this one, Derek, because after Maplegate came the big move.
That's a big move.
Yeah, Eastward Ho was pretty special.
Eastwood Ho in Chatham, Mass. As I mentioned earlier, that's where I spent my summers. So fortunately for me, I was able to play that course a bunch of times.
Yep.
Very
special.
Private.
Very private. The longest waiting list in New England. 30 years.
Unbelievably private. Yeah. I already told you a story that I had on that course, but oh my God, that place has got the wealthiest of people pulling up on their yachts and moving it.
Great people though, Derek. Great people.
Oh yeah. No, and listen, the people who live in Chatham all year round, phenomenal people. You know what I mean? It's when you get overrun with Harry Connick Jr. and Oprah Winfrey and then, Bill Cosby, I think, had a house there. Then you get some stupid money in town, but there's a lot of fishermen in that town. There's a lot of good people in that town. So you're an assistant pro over there?
First assistant.
So you get to play a lot though, too, don't you?
I played a lot then. The next place after that, I did not.
Yeah, that was a tough track, Eastwood Ho, on the water. You learned how to play in the wind.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a healthy wind course for sure.
There was a lot of people from Taunton that were getting a hold of Botelho asking them to play Eastwood Ho, just so you know.
Did you able to help them
Oh,
out
yeah.
a couple times?
Shout out Dennis Almeida, Ricky Marcos, Timmy Donovan, Mark Furtado.
Nice. Wow.
To name a few.
Just to get down there and play that. That was a tough place to get on.
Special place.
Yeah, very special place. Fortunately for me, I got to play that place a dozen times minimum. A lot more. So, and I will tell my story quickly. A friend of mine the father was the pro, or his uncle. I can't remember which.
John Scheffler.
Yeah. And so we just got to go out when the members could only go out. The latest they could go out was 3:30. So by 4:30, they were far enough away that we could go out, walk, and play 9 or whatever we wanted to play. I get there at 2:30 one day to hit some balls or something, and they're like, oh, all the guys down there are like, oh, you get your tips by, bagging up the carts, and guys will tip you, whatever. It's a very exclusive club, and usually you get tipped very well. Tough job to get. I couldn't even get it. And but the guys were like, you go put this on the cart. I go out there, green cart, shamrock, 2 huge human beings getting on the cart. And I put the bags on the cart. I thought all I remember about that, I'm probably 15 or 14. And I remember that cart's not going to make it. It's just not going to make it. I go back down. They go, they tip you? I'm like, they didn't tip me anything. And I said, yeah, no, they didn't give me any tip because they wanted the tip if they did. And I'm not picking on them. They probably would just, this ain't political to me. It was Tip O'Neill and Ted Kennedy. And that's how exclusive this course was.
Yep.
And I just don't even think they knew I was there. It wasn't like they were avoiding me or anything. They were in conversation or whatever it was, and they were off and running. I'm sure they would have gave me $5. What the hell? I don't know what the tip would have been back then, but they were just off and running. I shouldn't say running. It was an ugly sight watching that cart go. But that is how exclusive Eastwood Ho is.
Very.
Eastwood Ho, where do you go next?
The big move, the biggest of all. So the highlight of my PGA career, as far as being at a golf course, a then top 25 golf course in America, Baltusrol, New Jersey.
You were?
Yeah.
You went down there?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It's the only time I wasn't part of the New England section.
Really?
Yeah.
That's exclusive too. You were at no wonder they liked you over there, because you were at the uppity course over here. You could have probably helped some of their members get on down there when they all flew into the Cape for summer, whatever they were doing.
Well, no, you're all over it. So just how special is Eastwood Ho? Here's how special it is. 3 members at Eastwood Ho when I was there belonged to Augusta National.
Yeah.
2 have since deceased. 1 is still alive, Mr. E.H. Budd, B-U-D-D.
Wow.
Then we had 7 members, 7 at Eastwood Ho. That was their summer home. Where do they live? Full time, New Jersey. How did I get the job at Baltusrol? Bingo. There it is.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
That's how the golf business works.
No, life works that way. Life works that way. You were brave. Did you live down in Chatham, by the way?
Yes.
Where?
I had the greatest apartment, arguably, in America.
Down in Chatham?
Correct. Right behind the parking lot.
Anybody who goes over the bridge, Chatham is the elbow of the Cape. It's also the beginning of the most expensive places on the Cape, all the way down to P-Town. So it's a different world in Chatham. And you were able to get a pretty cool, you had to get hooked up through the club, obviously.
The Squire might be the best bar on the Cape. And the place I was living was in the
Shout
backyard.
out to nephew Brad for sneaking in there many of times. Yeah, we all did. I was, if you were down there long enough, I was a bouncer at in Brewster, the Woodshed.
Oh yeah.
And so we got into, that was tough to get into. So we got into the Squire whenever we wanted to, going through those years. Yeah. So I would work all day, golf in the afternoon if I got out. I was landscaping basically in the morning, golf whenever I could. At night, go to work 2 or 3 nights at, a bar. And most of the times it was the Woodshed that we were down there doing that. So, but you would know all those stomping grounds too. Yeah. It's fun.
100%.
Fun time down there. So you were
the Squires here.
How many years were in Chatham in the
3.
summer?
3 really fun years, and I probably would never have left, but Baltusrol is too hard to pass up.
Yeah. That's professionally a great move. So how long were you down there?
Just 2, then I got my first head pro job.
Nice. So you get your head pro job back here?
Nope, I was in New Hampshire for 5 years in Wolfboro.
Good Lord, you've moved.
Yep.
So where's the wife and kids come in on this?
I meet and propose to my wife all in the 5 years I'm in Wolfboro. We wait to try to start a family.
And your wife's name is?
Cheryl, Cheryl. She always says, I'm like, honey, that's how, no, the young kids now, they don't
Yes,
spell it that way.
Some
Well,
other way, yeah.
so 5 years
Shout
in
out
Wolfboro.
Cheryl. Thank you for letting him come in and steal some of his time. Appreciate you. So you're in Wolfboro?
Yeah.
And you're the man in charge?
Yeah.
Just applied for the job? Somebody connected you with it?
No, you got, even a job like the one I had, you're beating at least 65, 75 people for a job. That's just how.
Did you like it up there?
I did, but I wanted to get back towards here.
And how'd you get back here?
Crestwood's job opened up in Rehoboth,
Okay.
where I used to caddy, and I'm like, yeah,
Crestwood.
that's where I want to go.
Wow, I didn't know you were over there too.
5 years.
So now you're back in the homestead, so to speak.
Yeah.
Now I know you coached some other places.
Yeah.
So where were you when you started coaching? Where's your first big high school job? Was it Fian?
So it was Dean College first, as far as
that's right. And you and you have a certain hat on today that you're going to get to.
Yeah. So I wanted to get back into coaching, and at this point, I kind of felt burned out and run down with the day-to-day operations of being a head pro. I don't think people realize. So shout out to all my fellow PGA professionals across America. It's a tough job. It's you're managing people, you're managing a staff, you're running tournaments, you're teaching, you're merchandising, you're buying all the stuff with your own money, praying you sell it. And if you're lucky, you'll have a chance to play 9 holes a week.
Yeah.
So most pros games will go bye-bye.
Yeah.
Luckily for me, it has not happened, but it happens to a lot of really good players.
Yeah.
I made the decision in 2013, once the pro shop at Crestwood was going to be taken by the owner of the club, and I don't blame him a bit for taking the pro shop revenue from me since he took over the entire golf course and paid for it. I just decided, this is God's way of saying time to just focus on teaching and coaching, because I knew in my heart that's all I really truly love to do.
Yep.
I didn't love merchandising. I didn't love ordering clothes. I didn't mind running a 3-day member guest, watching all my members have a blast for 3 days. But at the end of the day, I felt like the most important things I ever did as a golf pro were teaching. When I helped misses with their game, now hubby's very happy.
Yeah, yeah.
Or I helped Junior make a high school team. Now both parents.
Forget them. You helped me.
Yeah.
Um,
So
Dean
I worked
College.
at Dean. Yep. I volunteered just to see if I thought I liked it as much as I did in 96 when I coached Dover High.
Yep.
And I loved it. That coach got sick. I did it for a year. I wasn't getting paid. And I'm like, okay, I know I like it.
Best player in Dean College?
Austin.
Ooh, coming quickly.
Austin actually owns a place called Golf X, an indoor golf simulator, play Pebble Beach kind of place in Franklin, actually.
Nice.
So
We'll
he's
give
from
a shout out to Austin.
Yeah, Austin's great.
Cool.
He was a good player.
Any other names come to your head quick?
No.
Good. Then move
Well,
on.
Austin was the
No,
captain.
that's how it works. Hey, earn your flowers. So Dean College too.
Dean College was good. That was 2015. And then I got poached back into the golf business by a friend who basically begged me to come work for him. So I jumped back into the country club world. But
Forget it. Let's go to coaching. What's the
then
next coaching job?
Brown University.
Brown University.
Yeah.
And you're the head coach?
No.
I say that's a pretty.
No, that's going to take a little more years of experience. Assistant coach at Brown for 2 years.
Nice.
And
Paid position?
Yeah. And then the coach got sick. He retired, and new
New
coach
coach,
came in,
new
different
staff.
hours, different schedule. No,
Let's just go right to it. Best player at Brown when you were there?
boy, they were all pretty good, to be honest
No,
with
but
you.
it's the best.
Luca Jezzeny, Jezzeny.
I love how you spell everybody's name.
Yeah,
You know how to spell my name?
I sure hope so.
Derek.
Derek.
Thank God he spelled that right there.
But how about this? I just picked up a golf club at Joe and Lee's. Everyone knows Joe and Lee's is the place to get your golf clubs fixed.
Yeah.
So Darren, the head of club fitting, fellow PGA friend of mine, been there 3 decades. Do you know how he spells Darren? Guess.
IN.
Try again.
Daren or RREN.
You actually got it, but most people are not
Yeah.
going to go with Daren. They're going to go 2 R's,
Yeah.
or they might go an I.
Well, I would have said Daren to start, but
Really?
then I would have corrected myself to 2 R's. You know what I
Gotcha.
mean? Because
Okay.
I know they're the most common, but yeah. Darius over there is what? Daris is we're going to get into it.
Yeah,
You're awfully quiet over there. How's it going over there? Are we okay?
it's good.
Cameras running?
He's trying to figure out if he wants to try to play golf.
Do you think you're going to have a second job when this is all done? How you think?
I had a slight issue with the third camera a little while ago. Like I switched to it, and I don't know why it was just pointed at the door. Like I changed it so fast, but
So let me ask you something. What camera's on right now?
the third, I
Yeah.
fixed it.
How about
'Cause
the
I was
fourth? How about the fourth camera? Yeah, because I know how much you must have had that on today. That's Darius, by the way. If he's got it on camera 4 right now, he's the man in charge back there. So you leave Brown, and then is this where?
Unwillingly, I really wanted to stay.
Yeah,
To be honest
yeah,
with you, I
but
really enjoyed
I
that.
get it when there's new coaches and all
Yeah.
that bullshit.
New hours, working
Excuse my
nights and
language,
stuff.
but yeah. So is this coaches on hold for now? Or did you get your application out there? What'd you do?
No, so after Brown, I'm at Parker at this point. So
Okay.
I'm already a year or two into Parker, teaching at for those that are listening that know Parker's John Parker Golf Course, right in Taunton, the great town of Taunton. I wanted to get right back into teaching and coaching. I didn't want to wait because I missed the kids. After 3 months away from Brown, I still get in touch with the kids on my phone. All 5 starters, they're great kids. One works at PXG. He's going to be an engineer at PXG, the golf club company out in Arizona. So these are really smart kids.
Nice.
I got the job at Fian, but it lasted very, very short because I got a phone call from a kid I teach that lives in Franklin, goes to Franklin High. I've been giving him lessons for the last 2 years. So he's been driving from Franklin all the way to Taunton just to take
Really?
a lesson and drive back home,
Nice.
which is kind of cool. Makes me feel
Yeah.
good that he trusts me. I had just met the team at Fian after doing all the paperwork, fingerprints. By the way, for those that ever go for a coaching job at a Catholic school,
It's everywhere, bro.
it's unbelievable
The
how much work.
Corey forms and everything are everywhere.
Fingerprints.
As a volunteer coach at BR, I'm not a paid position. I still have to do all that stuff too. Doesn't matter.
A lot of stuff.
And I don't blame it. You
Yeah.
got to do that
for
stuff.
sure. For
But-
sure.
So short lived.
Yeah, so I basically had just met the team, told them my expectations, my desires to help them. They could come take lessons with me at Parker and all that. About 10 days later, the phone rings. Hey, this is Josh Perlman, Tyler's dad. How you doing, Mr. Perlman? Hey, is this a good time to talk? I'm like, sure. He goes, well, I told Tyler to tell you this, but I think he's just too nervous to tell you. The Franklin High golf coach just left. They're looking for a golf coach. And I'm going, oh boy,
Well, now you're in Franklin. You
Well,
live in Franklin?
I had been in Franklin for a long time.
No, so I mean,
Yeah.
it's your hometown. Well, not. I know Taunton's your hometown.
I will
You're
never
living.
say
You're
Franklin
living.
is my hometown.
You're living.
ever.
You're living in Franklin.
This
now.
is home for me.
Yeah,
You know
of
how
course.
I feel
know.
about Taunton.
Yeah, you're sitting in it right now. So,
But
but it's where you're living. It's where the kids are, where the family is, or wife, or what are you doing?
we
at
had
this
been
point
there
in time?
since '09.
Yeah,
so
cool.
I was commuting to Crestwood from Franklin.
Wow.
Down to Rehoboth for 5 years.
Wow.
But my son was literally about to go to Franklin High, and he's a golfer. So it was kind of like, okay, yeah, I think I'm gonna probably want to go to Franklin High.
Yeah.
Had a conversation with my son, made sure he wanted dad to be a coach because I had a good idea I'd get the job based on my credentials. And I just asked the AD at Franklin High if she could try her best to get it all done quickly so I could just be respectful to
Of course. Yeah. Of course.
the AD at
So you never really got off the ground, FE, and then
Nope, but I was officially hired and I was technically the coach there. I kind of pulled a
0-0 wins and losses.
I pulled I texted some of my friends. Obviously, you're one of my friends, all my Taunton guys, and I texted a bunch of them, and I said, "Bo just pulled a Bill Belichick with the Jets."
0-0. So on to Franklin. You've been there for how long now?
Just finished year 1, about to start year 2, right here coming up.
Nice. How do you like it?
Great.
Has it been anything surprising? Public school. I mean, every school has their challenges. Every team has their challenges. What do you got?
Franklin Country Club's a great place to call home. Great golf course. I think we have the best golf course in the Hawk. I think our kids understand how lucky they are to have that golf course.
I never played.
Great. Really good.
Is it?
Great conditions.
What do the kids play? They play the tips? They
Whites.
play the whites?
Yeah. It's tough enough there, though.
Nice. So last year, who was on the team last year? Who's coming back? That you already had. So you're 2 years done or 1 year done?
About to start year 2.
So it's a spring league. Oh shit! I thought it was. Excuse my language.
Fall. We're in the fall. Our tryouts will start pretty soon. I'll have tryouts in about 8 weeks.
Your season's in the fall. Your tryouts are in the spring.
Tryouts are in the summer.
Summer. Okay, so you're going
8 weeks from now.
You're coming up, and the next school session is the start of. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Start of year 2.
Yeah. Okay, so you're going to start year 2. How was last season?
We won the Hawks. Lost one match. We were
Whoa, time out. You won the Hawk.
Yeah. Co-champs with King Philip. We split with them.
Nice.
So each of us gave each other their only loss.
Is that
the
damn
Hawk.
Caden Sullivan kid?
He was my number 2 player.
Yeah. You know I love that kid, but
He's a beast on a basketball
if you don't know, Caden, I am the BR assistant varsity basketball coach. You pain me. You're tough this year. You completely deserving of your championship. You single-handedly willed your team through some of those games
100%.
to win. I'm not surprised. You're a wonderful golfer. It's a mental sport. You seem to have a mental tenacity to go with that, and best of luck with you next. So obviously, I mean, he's one of your best golfers.
Yeah, he was great. He was my number 2.
Nice. Ooh, who's the number 1?
Liam Lewandowski,
Nice.
who could definitely play college golf
Is
somewhere.
he coming back?
No, he's a senior. He wants to go to Wake Forest, so he knows he's not going to be playing for that golf team. That's just a little too difficult. But just a great kid. And that's the school he wants to go to.
Good school.
Great player.
Yeah,
good
school.
golfer.
So they won the Hawk. What? Any next steps?
We didn't do great in the state tournament, which they know I wasn't overly excited about how we performed. But at the end of the day, we won the Hawks. We had a good year. We had a blast.
That's
a lot of
great
good
year.
memories.
Great. This is the best. It's the best sports league in Massachusetts, in my opinion. So, who's on deck? Who's coming up?
So we lost our number 1, 2, and 3 players.
Ooh.
But I had 2 sophomores this year that absolutely stepped up big time the second half of the year. And I think those 2 kids, now going to be juniors, will lead my team as far as stroke average goes. They won't be my captains because I like to have seniors as captains personally, but they're going to be my best 2 players.
Yeah, captain doesn't mean best player.
Correct.
So I agree with you on that one as well too. And I'm not looking at my damn. I got to get my watch to not vibrate, but it just drives me crazy. So you got 2 sophomores coming up.
They'll be juniors.
How many kids play on the day? 4 or 5? What?
8 kids play in a match.
See so much. See how much I know.
Yeah.
So 8 kids are playing, and again, is it match play?
Nope.
It's stroke play.
Stroke
now?
play. Yep. Top 4 scores count.
Oh, okay. So it doesn't matter when you go off, who you go off with anymore. You're just playing against yourself the whole time.
Yep.
Do you like that?
I think it better prepares you. Even me, I played match play, but my OCL league postseason championship was stroke play, and my state championship was stroke play. So to me, I think stroke play is the way to go.
That's actually one thing I don't like about golf. And I don't like about it professionally either. Yeah, Scotty Scheffler is the best golfer in the world, but you know what? It's fun seeing match play. It's fun. You don't get to win because you know, it's almost like NASCAR. You know, you get bored with just getting points. I want to see you win the race. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see you win the race and with your teammates. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see the guys really pulling for that last guy to win that last hole because it's just going to even out that match and match play. And
Sounds like Derek Perry loves the Ryder Cup.
love it.
Yes.
Love it.
Yes.
I wish golf had more team activity to it. So it's not just, you know, throwing flowers at the kid who can shoot the lowest score. That kid's going to do well anyways. You know what I mean? But it takes the team out of team sport when you do stroke. Do you agree?
Do you watch live golf at all?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yes.
wonderful.
Love the concept for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you watch this new stuff indoor?
I
Hold
watch-
on. Camera 3.
I just
Hey,
want
come here,
to.
baby. Come here. You want to be on TV? Is that why? Hi. Hi. What you doing? I know I got a club and you're a German Shepherd, but you're afraid of everything. I'm going to
There you
beat you with this club. Here,
There you
I'll
go.
put it down.
Hi, girl.
Yeah. Yep. We got rain in the house. Hi, baby. Okay, I'm not going to beat you with a club, I promise.
So Darius, apparently Mr. Perry, who started this whole podcast by saying, I'm a golf nut then, and I'm a golf nut now, yet he just asked me if I watch the Indoor Golf League.
I know
the
the
answer
answer to the
is,
question.
I'll watch anything
Yeah.
golf.
But
And
did you like it?
I do like it.
Yeah.
I actually like it.
Where is that?
That's down in Florida, Jupiter,
That's
I believe.
crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy indoor stadium hitting
Yeah.
into that massive. It looks so real. And then the one thing I didn't get out of that, and I couldn't tell, they got different greens, so they're able to undulate the green
Yep,
differently.
they're able to raise the green and simulate the green that they're playing on the real course.
I want to play that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I want to hit it. I want to see what it's like. That was really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about fun in the off season.
Imagine doing that here with all the Tauntonians somewhere.
So, who's your favorite? I don't even want to get into 1 year in. I'll talk to you at another later date, and we'll talk about your all-time favorite high school, players and all that stuff. But who's your favorite pros? Give me your top 5 pros all time.
Current or all time?
All
All
time.
time? Ooh, boy, I'll shock some people here.
No, and I start at 5 and go to 1. That's how we do it here. And then I'm going to be throwing up on the screen a PowerPoint that'll go with it, if you know what I mean.
So when I answer this question, people have to understand how I actually play the game myself when I'm on and playing well. I don't see straight shots. I always do something with the golf ball until I get to like 100 yards. So I'm always hitting it low or high or curving it. I've never seen a straight shot going back to me with the blades and the balata balls. So because of that, these 5 players all have many things in common. Number 5, I'm going Chichi Rodriguez.
Ooh. Chichi Rodriguez.
Just passed away a couple
No,
years
but
ago.
where'd he grow
Puerto
up?
Rico.
So Puerto Rico, poor kid, real poor.
Very.
Run out to the course, hit a ball, run back into the woods. So he never had time to line everything up.
Correct.
So that's why he played a lot of shape shots, because when he got there, he just couldn't really think about it either. And he played extremely fast
Yes.
when he was playing golf.
was
That's a
tremendous.
great name.
He was great.
That's one that's here, but I wouldn't have
Just
remembered
passed
it.
away. Yeah, he was great.
Wow, Chichi Rodriguez. That's going to be one that we're going to have to throw an extra picture up for people to see when I get to the editing part of this. 4?
Bubba Watson.
Bubba's cool.
And now people know why.
Does he shape the ball a lot?
Oh, I don't know. Just a little bit.
No, I honestly don't know. He does?
Uh,
I thought he was a long hitter.
you must not remember the 37-yard duck hook with a gap wedge in the playoff at the Masters to
No.
win his first jacket.
That's what he did with that?
Yeah, 37-yard.
Gap wedge? What degree?
That was 52.
52?
37 and a half yards. They actually studied it.
Wow. Is a gap wedge always 52? Sorry.
Doesn't have to be.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
No, it's just whatever gap for
Wow.
you.
It's in between the.
Yeah.
Yep. So, wow. Okay. That's a good one.
Yeah,
I like Bubba Watson. I didn't realize he shaped the ball as much as he did.
for sure.
That's cool. 3?
I go Corey Pavin.
Wow. Because don't tell me it's because he's small.
I have a picture of
Is
him.
it because he's small?
Well, I've met a bunch of
Are
people.
you saying that you have this
No,
complex?
no.
with- he didn't shape the ball.
Oh, yes, he did.
Did he?
Oh, yeah.
Corey Pavin.
Oh, yeah.
You like see how I know all these names and I know exactly who you're talking about? I've been watching golf my whole life too. I love golf. So
Corey was good.
Corey was really
He
good.
should be in the Hall of Fame. He needs to get
Putting extraordinaire.
with the bullseye putter, the gold bullseye
That
putter. He still putts
little
with it.
Stupid putter.
Still putts with it.
And I have one of those. I think was it him? I think it's because of him I have one of those.
Bulldog.
I still have the same putter I've had forever. So
Bulldog.
yeah.
He was
All
one of my
right. So
favorites.
2.
God bless his soul, Sevi Ballesteros.
Wow. Yeah. He can't make my list. He's just the European intimidator. So, but he is a great golfer.
Grew up
And
with-
he does shape the ball. I remember him doing that too. He could do anything in the wind.
Grew up with a 4-iron, hitting bunker shots with 4-irons.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah. You've left the names out of this.
Yeah, because I go with shot shapers.
Oh, wow. Who's the number 1?
Of course, I want to put Tiger, but that's just too generic of an answer.
It's not
So
generic.
My,
The truth isn't generic. The truth isn't generic.
my all-time number 1 is the Merry Mex. Do you know who the Merry Mex is?
Mex. The Mexican?
Grew up poor in Texas. Played for money when he didn't have enough money to cover his
I don't know what
losses.
you're talking about.
He literally played with not enough money to cover a loss. That would
Is he
have
Mexican?
that would have cost him some injuries, perhaps, and he happened to win every single time.
Who?
Lee Trevino.
Oh, really? Yeah, I like Lee Trevino. He's pretty spectacular.
hit all the shots.
Yeah,
as well.
he did hit a lot of shape shots. So if you're going in that direction, I get why you have those golfers.
Yeah.
Not one of those make my top 5, by the way. Not one.
I have no interest in watching guys hit it dead straight all day.
Why do you not like Phil Mickelson?
Nothing against Phil.
He can shape a ball. He's a lefty. What he can shape a ball as good as anyone.
I'm not quite sure about those other 5 guys, but he's up there.
You think so?
Around the greens, he was brilliant.
Oh, brilliant around the greens.
Yeah.
I mean, the 60-degree, he hit some ridiculous behind his head shot, all
In
that
college,
kind of,
that
all
was
that
pretty
fun
cool.
stuff. That's
That was
pretty good.
cool.
too.
Tiger was really good too at shot shaping.
Yeah, I think Phil for me is, I don't know. God, I don't know if I'll get a chance to do this. I definitely like Tiger just because Tiger brought something to the game that nobody else did. He just did. He brought aggressiveness, intimidation. He wasn't everybody's friend. He didn't care about you. And I played a lot of those sports where you had to have some of that attitude, because you're going to go out there and knock somebody on the ground. But he brought that. I think that's why a lot of people liked it and bought into it that were just athletes. They're like, this dude plays this sport like
Different.
just different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I thought Phil was the family man of that time. You know what I mean? Like, so when he won, everybody was happy. He finally won, broke through, but he just basically got his ass kicked. all his great years. If Tiger wasn't there, he would have been the one.
You were
know what I
rooting
mean?
for one or the other at that point.
I was always rooting for Tiger.
Me too.
Yeah,
Me too.
always was rooting for
Me too.
Tiger. I rooted for Phil when Tiger was not really there anymore. So I gave him his flowers when Tiger was basically done. When Tiger won that last, was it Masters?
19.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Pretty special.
It is pretty special.
Yeah.
Jack went in late in his career, 86.
1986. He
Yeah.
was 46 years
It's
old.
crazy too.
Yeah.
They're crazy too. Anything you want to get off your mind? Get thinking about last thoughts of, like I tell you, hours go by quick. Anything on your agenda that's still out here that we want to get through?
Just always, I always like to pay my respects to this great town of Taunton. You said earlier, boy, you've lived a lot of places. It's 5 states, I believe, and 9 or 10 cities. And when I look back, I don't regret getting out of here to do what I needed to do professionally, right? You got to move, you got to jump the ladder, you got to work your way up the board to try to get a head pro job. I don't think there's a better group of people, I know there isn't, than right here in Taunton. And the coolest thing that I would close with, Derek, is athletes like you, because you were a phenomenal athlete yourself. Yeah, you were. Very athletic man right here in front of us, people. Now he plays golf. John Castle playing golf.
Yeah.
Billy Leonard playing golf. Tommy Sylvia playing golf. Paul Arikian playing golf. Tommy Cadero, a.k.a. Guppy, addicted to golf.
Yeah.
So I just love to see
That's a long line of Tauntonians.
and
you
all
just
the
blew
good,
out there.
lots, a lot of
Okay.
good people right there.
Yeah, I think, for me, it's I can go play golf with, and Mary Beth, you better start playing again. Well, it's another story, but you can play with my wife.
Send her for a lesson.
But you can play with your wife. You can play with your friends. You can play in a tournament. You can play in a league. You can play here. You can play anywhere in the world. The most beautiful places in the world is where golf courses are. You can go to and if you haven't ever before, if it's public, you can go to a public clubhouse and have lunch or dinner, and it'll be one of the best meals you usually get. It's just an amazing sport in that regard. And I think that's why anybody who was an athlete and doesn't want to have anything blow out on them, you know what I mean?
You can hurt yourself though. You
Heck
can.
yeah, you
know.
can. Yeah. But, I think there's just a lot of ways you can do it. You can be older than us and in a cart, or you're still walking a course or carrying a bag if you're a young guy. It's just a great, great sport in that regard, man.
Derek, what other sport? So 8 days ago or whatever, 2 Saturdays ago, I shot 65 at Parker. First 9 with my son, and then DJ Martinez, the famous DJ Martinez that everyone knows, joined me on the back because I said, look, I just shot 31. You better come play with us in case I shoot another 30, 31, just to have someone there to attest it. Of course, I shot 34. But my point, which is still fine, but my point is this. What other sport can anyone play arguably better at age 53 than they did in college? Maybe not quite when you were a professional, but what other sport at age 53 are you going to absolutely stare down you in college, and you might very well and probably will beat that person. I don't know of another sport. If there is one, someone can chime in.
Yeah, to your credit, you're in good shape, very flexible, still love to get after it, and that's one of the reasons you're able to do it. Some of these guys that I know who put on that belly can't turn on the ball. They ain't saying the same thing about beating their 20-year-old self, if you know what I mean. So I think part of what I really like about you and your game and who you are is you're still living it, you're still doing it, you're not just talking about it, which is fun. Because somebody who is competitive, you want to know somebody's still out there, hacking it around, trying to be better, pissed off. Because the great thing about golf is you're pissed off or mad or I can hear your better inside head talking that I wanted to shoot 31, but I shot 34 and I'm okay with that. I want to shoot under 45 every time. I want to shoot under 40 and I'm okay though the days that I don't. You know what I mean? Like that's the older self. The younger self wasn't that way with me. as you know.
Yeah,
as you know. And I think that's why if you still can get after it, I'll play a 20-year-old if we're the same handicap. I'm not playing a plus guy. I know I'm not going to beat that person, but I'll play that. I just know I'm mentally okay when I just got to punch one out and try to hit it up. You know what I mean? Like they're not. They're not.
So what's your favorite sport of all time, Derek?
Oh.
Like your absolute number one. Can only play one sport, and you can go into the.
But I'm healthy and I'm able to. You know what I mean? Like I'm 20 something.
Whatever age you want to be, doesn't matter.
I will say this, man. That's a great question. Thank you for asking. I wasn't expecting that.
And I'm still going to be your friend if you don't say golf. Clearly.
I really have loved golf. I really have. I wouldn't have gone. I don't know. Like
football.
No, definitely not football. I was really good at hockey. When I was in 8th grade, I had to make a decision to go to BC High, Belmont Hill, or Exeter in New Hampshire and live there. And I chose Taunton High.
Because you love Taunton.
Because I just love Taunton.
And you love the people at Taunton.
They were good. The hockey team was good my 8th grade year, really good. Competing in the States. And then it fell apart. If I could do it again, I probably would have went to Exeter, New Hampshire, and see where that would have took me. But hockey was really different back then. So to try to make it professionally, it would have been hockey. My love, though?
Yeah, the love.
The love is golf.
Really?
Yeah, it is golf. It's not, I love coaching basketball. I wouldn't want to coach golf. So you're asking me what I want to play. I would want to play golf. I wouldn't want to coach it.
Sure.
It's an art you have, bro. To be able to sit back and see somebody swing and really, I get it. I can see that too. I have an eye for that stuff. There's so many details. And then if you want to really be really good, you better take that pro on 9 holes. So when you have an uphill lie, a downhill lie, a sand trap on the side of the bunker, there's a freaking.
Wait, what?
I don't know any of those words you just said.
Yeah.
So basically what I'm saying,
he's all over it, though.
There's a million shots in golf.
Yes.
So if you go to a driving range with a pro, he's going to hit off a flat surface every time. That's great. Now you're on a golf course, you're on an uphill line, you get the same shot. Is the ball in front of you? Ball behind you? Are you taking the same swing, choking down on the club? That's what I love about golf, because I love to think. And that's why all these other sports, when I said it's 75% mental, I meant it. It's not 75% mental to play basketball. It's actually 45, 55, 45 physical, 40, 45 mental, 55. You can play that and just shoot. Maybe that's the same way in golf. Just hit. But you better think about an uphill lie, downhill lie. Now you get on a green. Like, I just love all that. I love all that. And I love that I'll never be good enough, because there's always something to work on. You know what I mean? Like, and then the greatest thing about golf is you can play it until you can't play it anymore. Your expectations just have to get a little bit lower. The great thing I always hear is when you're in your 70s, and if you ever shoot your age, you're as good as anybody in their 20s.
Yeah.
If you can shoot your age, you're as good as anybody there ever was, right? You can't shoot your age.
No.
53.
No.
If you ever shoot your age, that's a goal, and a goal to keep having. So if you're 72 and can shoot 72, you're a stud.
Yeah.
And anybody who plays golf knows you're a stud.
100%.
You know what I mean? So I think that's why I like golf the most as well too. I have something that I can look forward to for many more years for getting after it. But favorite sport is kind of crazy because I played every one up on that board except for maybe track, which track to me is kind of boring, even though I'm gonna have you guys in here. That's to me is a little different. Sorry, Darius. Did you run track?
Yeah.
What'd you run?
I did like mid distance stuff, like the 800, 400.
You did cross country though.
Yeah.
See, that's a little different to me. Cross country's like
Outside.
yeah, like there's a lot of more competition. There's a different kind of competition to that too, right? You were cross country in school too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that too. Track to me though is like, you line up and run as fast as you can and get better. But it doesn't matter. I guess I can run a little faster with the guy next to me, but if the other guy next to me's got God's genes and put in the work, I can't beat him. It's just, you know what I mean?
Well said.
But golf, man, if I put in the work, I went over to Pine Oaks today and chipped and putt for a while just to give myself a break at lunchtime. You know what I mean? So I got to do it again. Like it wasn't good.
Well, you said put in the work. You got to put in the correct work. Right?
True.
So that's where
true,
people
too.
mess up. They're not doing it the right way.
Yeah.
But you are.
Your favorite round of all time. Not forget the score. No, let me rephrase this. Your favorite course
That I've played so far.
that you played.
That'll
so
change
far.
soon, but as of right now, Wingfoot's still my favorite.
Oh,
and I was
really?
lucky enough to play Pine Valley, which is always ranked number one.
Beautiful.
But I actually preferred Wingfoot
Really?
over Pine Valley.
Nice. So, I'm thinking to myself, this is a good spot to end. You did. I really appreciate you coming in.
course.
I know you go by Bo.
It's all good.
My head rattles around. Dan, for you,
My mom,
we go way back, bro. You know what I mean?
Dan's
So-
fine. That's
when did you when did that transformation kind of happen?
6th or 7th grade is when
It
my
really picked up.
Pop Warner football coach, Coach Amaral,
Shout out to what team?
Pop Warner football.
Taunton, was it?
Yeah, of course,
The Ware Tigers. Or
No, that was
Oh, that's Pop Warner. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's only one team. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Coach Amaral, last I checked, Amaral's Portuguese. Dan Botelho, Dan Botelho, coach, it's Botelho. And then after 3 mishaps, someone said, Coach, just say Danny Bo instead of Danny Botelho.
Right.
Kept messing it up, and it just stuck.
That's cool.
So by 7th grade, 8th grade, it
It
was
just
like,
became Bo.
yeah. But
I like
my mom named me Dan, so Dan doesn't offend me.
Yep. I love it, bro. I appreciate you coming in. This is like, we're getting off the ground. We're going to see if Darius gets fired or not when we put this to the final test of getting out there. And,
He did well. Give him a raise.
and hey, man, this is what it's all about. I hope you had fun time in here. This is why we do this, you guys. Man, appreciate all the coaches out there who just give for very few dollars coming back. And a lot of the coaches out there who don't make $1 are even more important to me.
How about
So-
a shout out to Mr. Perry? Thanks for having me here. Thanks for putting us coaches in the spotlight, but thank you for doing this. And also a guy that just said he's a volunteer coach. So that's someone who loves what he does and is not getting literally a dime to do so.
Yeah, that's the flowers for people out there is, keep at it. As many people who complain, there's so many people like myself that want to hear stories about these coaches that just give and give. So don't worry about that one parent who's giving you a hard time, because there's usually 10 to 20 times more parents who are silent that appreciate what you're doing. So
Well said.
all right, my man. We're going to wrap it up right now. Appreciate you coming in. And hey, we'll wait for it. Hopefully we get to episode 3, and this is another lost episode.
Lost episode.
Sorry, Matt Mincone. It's coming back live to you someday, that lost episode. All right. Be good. Thank you.
Nice. How long?